The evolutionary history of cobras and all other snakes shows that it evolved from a creature with limbs, ankles, and toes close to that of a lizard, but with time they evolved, and those bones lost their function to the point where they are no longer present in snakes today. This here is a picture of one of the few fossils of a four-legged snake that shows the skeletal structure I'm talking about. Since the skeletal structure of a snake doesn't really fossilize well, it's hard to find evidence like this that shows its evolutionary history. But according to an article by Nature, their anatomical structure closely relates it to a species known as the earless monitor lizard of Borneo because of their reduced limbs, long scaly bodies, and no present external ears. A few theories as to why snakes lost their features is that they changed their navigation to best suit their environment. So here, cobras are fossorial, and they use their snout to dig into the ground where they keep their eggs. Living underground is an adaptation from their marine ancestors because they gain protection from their predators.
Here's a full-grown king cobra, hissing with its tongue, expanding its hood. It feels threatened. King cobras usually feed on small prey like rats or mongoose, but in this case, he's taking on one of his own. If a cobra feels very threatened, it'll launch itself at you, giving you a nasty bite. The king cobra can also control how much venom it will release. Muscles around the venom gland contract, releasing neurotoxins from its hypodermic fangs and into its prey. If an animal is large enough, such as a lion, it will shoot the venom into its eyes. King cobras can shoot venom from up to 3 meters. The king cobra also sheds its skin, creating a new set of skin about 4 to 6 times a year. It takes about 10 days for the cobra to fully scrape off and expose the new layer of skin. Up next is how king cobras find a mate. When king cobras find their mates, the male approaches the female and wraps itself around it and flirts by nudging its head up against her head, expressing its dominance. Eventually, this type of seduction works, and the female gives in to the male's fertilization. She spreads her hood and raises her head off the ground. Mating can take as long as an hour. If all goes well, the female will lay about 20 to 40 eggs within a month.
King cobra's venom. All cobras are extremely venomous. They can kill their prey with a single fatal bite. They have venom in their teeth located in the upper frontal jaw. Cobras tend to hiss before biting, and the sound of a hiss varies from one species to other. The venom of cobra contains neurotoxin, which can lead to respiratory failure and death in humans. The fang of king cobra can inject as much as 7 milliliters of venom, almost enough to fill 1½ teaspoon into its victim. The venom targets the central nervous system, eventually lead to kidney, heart, and lung failure. Initial symptoms include pain, drowsiness, blurred vision, paralysis of limbs. Cobra's venom is an example of molecule that prohibits the interaction of acetylcholine molecules, which is a transmitter from nerve endings surrounding the diaphragm muscle. With the receptor site on the diaphragm muscle, it binds to the receptor site, blocking them from interacting with the acetylcholine molecules. Even worse, the venom molecule will not immediately break down and vacate the receptor site, effectively removing the site from active duty. It has been determined that even if only 75 to 80% of the receptor site on your diaphragm become blocked by venom, you will still cease breathing. With cobra's venom, this process can take as little as 30 minutes.
When it comes to cobras, they all hold a relationship with the environment around them. For example, king cobras are the only snakes to build nests for their eggs, which consist of weeds, leaves, and other shrubs. Once the nest is built and the eggs are hidden underneath, the heat coming off of the eggs will in return further decompose the vegetation used. This creates great fertilization for the ground underneath. Cobras also account for a great percentage of middle-order predators for the environment, so without them there would be a major imbalance in the ecosystem. A negative ecological relationship that cobras have include parasitic worms, such as the filaria worm. The filaria worm infects the cobra and in return can cause an immense amount of damage.